Dear Diary, let's wrap this motherfucking epic up. I'm sorry, this has been a large series of digressions, and my brain is juggling a bunch of other things, and so I'm sure I've left out some of my favorite details. But let's try and wrap it up with a couple points. I think it was around Seattle when I first, near getting close to the end of the tour, where I finally started having some fun at Kate's expense. And I would, when I was opening shows, I would, to hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people, I would make jokes about being Kate Nash's boyfriend, and the crowd would cheer. Was it Seattle or Portland was one of my favorites, and because often when I went on stage, Kate and them were still out of the building. They would have to go do radio interviews and things like that, because you get to each town late, then they would often have to do radio interviews or things like that, and then eventually get back to the venue. So I ripped the place apart. Oh my God, I wish I'd filmed that. That was a really good show there. Seattle. I think it was Seattle. And I said I was Kate. I'd say things like, hello, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Touching You. I'm Kate Nash's boyfriend. Cheap. And they just go crazy, not realizing I'm joking. And then I'd say, I was just backstage making out with her. She is the greatest woman ever. They'd cheer again. And then I'd say she's going to be out soon and she's going to blow you away. She is the greatest woman ever. They'd cheer again. And then that was a show. I got off the stage, and as soon as I walked off the stage and I was backstage, right then Ryan comes around the corner. Ryan is her boyfriend from the Cribs. And I see him and I go, oh, fuck, I hope he's not mad at me. And I said, Ryan, I said, Ryan, you didn't catch my set, did you, I hope? And he said, no, I just walked in the door, mate. And I said, whew. I mean, he was a nice guy. I don't think he would have been upset, but, and then one of the funniest parts of the tour was I got thrown off the tour in San Francisco, which is amazing. Of all the cities in America that gave it, oh, this is incredible. I got to share this with you too. I think this was Seattle. So maybe the show I'm thinking of is not Seattle. I don't think. This was crazy. Now, at the time, Kate was 20 years old, and her band was all 18 and 19 years old. But they're British, so you're going to think they're older because they're more mature than Americans are. And in Seattle, that place, I think only maybe that held like 1,000. I'm not sure. One of the guys who runs the club came backstage, and since it was the Trachtenberg set would be Tina and Rachel. I mean, Rachel was the daughter. She was 14. And he said to me, we got some rules here. You guys can't drink beer in the dressing room. What the fuck? Because Rachel Trachtenberg, who's 14, is in the same dressing room with us. Okay, that's fucking retarded. And remember, this is Seattle, one of the more liberal cities in America. That's insane. If this was Florida or some fucking redneck place, maybe. But Seattle was the only place on the entire tour across America and Canada where they wouldn't allow adults to drink in the dressing room. And they said also, since the show's all ages, you can't drink on stage. It's like, what? Almost every show I think we did was all ages. And because Kate most of these shows was 90% like 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16-year-old girls. And that was pretty upsetting, but we just snuck the booze and stuff like that. But then, even more obnoxious, a few minutes later, we see the staff of the club or the venue or the theater or whatever it was goes into the dressing room of Kate and her band and takes out all of the booze. And we're talking a lot of booze. Remember, the drinking age in England, I don't think is 21. It's fucking stupid shit. You even drink outdoors in fucking London. America is a fucking puritanical, right-wing country. We're just like Iran, except a little more conservative. And it's fucking nuts. And you have to understand how insane that is, right? I was like, what? Kate and her band just make the club, just made the club. I'm going to guesstimate. Let's see, how much were tickets? Let's say Kate and the band made that club or that theater, fucking $10,000 in one day. Not bad. It's probably more than that. I'm just throwing a number out there. And these guys go into the dressing room, take out all the booze. We're talking like 15 bottles of booze and stuff. I'm not talking beer. Well, beer too, but I'm talking about like fucking a bottle of Jack, a bottle of rum, Captain Morgan's, whatever. And takes it all and takes it out of their dressing room because they were underage. That's absurd. But remember, that's why they call it land of the free. All lies, all the time. Most things in life are a lie or a myth. Remember that, kids. So, that was outrageous. Anyhow, I got thrown off the tour in San Francisco, which is outrageous. Again, just as insane as the fact that Seattle would bust people for booze. Not bust people for booze. Busting an adult who drinks a booze in a dressing room if there's an underage person in the same dressing room. Wow. Anyhow, in San Francisco, I got up and I did only 2 songs to open the show, which made sense too. It was great because the Trachtenbergs are pretty weird, and Kate's audience is pretty straightforward, pretty normal Americans who aren't very bright, and they just love Kate because everybody loves Kate, and not because they're smart, and mostly females. And I did 2 songs. Pardon me, I'm really tired. We're almost done this. Don't worry. I did 2 of my hits, Lou Reed's Cock, which is a gorgeous love song I did on guitar and vocals, electric guitar. Lou Reed's Cock, it's a love song to Laurie Anderson, who's a fantastic performance artist, brilliant, brilliant female, who started dating Lou Reed, a rock icon, curmudgeon. Lou, I like him, but he's not worthy of her. She's like a fucking genius scientist type, fucking clever, creative, innovative artist. I mean, he's innovative too, but she is way out of his league. But they ended up fucking getting married. I was a little upset. I wrote a song about it called Lou Reed's Cock, where I tell her to stay away from his cock. It's been all over the place. And it's really not about penis. It's a song about unrequited love. It's a beautiful song. Audiences always love that song. It's a great, great fucking song. Look it up. Google that shit. Lou Reed's Cock. And then I did my other, I do have a lot of hits. I did If Your Vagina Was Burned in a Fire. Again, the song's not really about vagina. It's about loving a woman even after she's lost her vagina in a fire and had her tits and her ass ripped off in a car crash. It sounds a little like it's a superpower ballad. It sounds a little bit like Aerosmith's Wet Dream. And as a power ballad, strings and piano. And that one rips. And I get a volunteer from the audience, a female volunteer from the audience. I have her sit down on stage in a chair and I serenade her. But I wait until she's on stage in front of the crowd before I announce the name of the song. And then they all laugh at her because she's about to have a song sung to her where I sing about her vagina being burned in a fire. It's a masterpiece of fluff. But it really is the most beautiful love song ever written. I mean, the sentiment is, I would still love you even if you lost your whole body. That's how strong the love is. And ripped them both. I don't think, a lot of the crowd didn't seem to understand it. Afterwards, some people were like, you were fucking brilliant. But as soon as I was done, Henry, the British tour manager, who's a fucking awesome guy, he says, mate, you're done. You're done. You're off the tour. I said, what? He's like, we got a bunch of complaints from some parents. And I said, well, that sucks. I said, and that's not right. I said, but of course, there's only one more date left on the tour. San Francisco was the second to last date. LA was the final date. And in San Francisco, now you have to understand, Kate had, one of her biggest hits was called Dickhead. And every show you'd have 1,000 fucking 12-year-old girls going, stop being a dickhead. What you being a dickhead for? So it was a little ironic that a couple parents got upset that I sang about a vagina being burned in the fire. I mean, again, that's not what the song's about. It's just the chorus. It's about loving somebody for who they are and their personality and everything else like that and forgetting the body. And it's tongue-in-cheek. And Ludovick's Cock, gorgeous song about unrequited love. I think I even explained it. Also, remember, I gave the audience a disclaimer. I said, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to be singing some provocative things. If you are sensitive, you might want to step outside for a moment. I'm doing 2 songs tonight. I would always warn the audiences on these tours. If it was all adults, I even still usually would make a disclaimer because I often trash religion. I do a lot of semi-controversial material and super controversial material. So these people were full of shit. Also, Kate would do every show. She would do a song called "You Don't Have to Suck Dick to Succeed." So this wasn't exactly like Bible class. So it was totally hypocritical. But no big deal. It was only one more night of the tour. But the idea that it was San Francisco, the only city we got in trouble was in San Francisco, which is supposed to be one of the more liberal cities in the world. I once said there are 2 types of human beings, fake conservatives and fake liberals, and I was correct. Belch. So the final night was in L.A., and I already mentioned that was the show where Kate stopped the show to protect Rachel and Tammy and I from getting bouncers bouncing us. And when the Trachtenbergs were about to go on, it was kind of good that I opened because the Trachtenbergs were pretty weird, unusual, and they confused a lot of Kate's fans who didn't quite understand what they did. So it helped to have me start with a little weird absurdity, and then the Trachtenbergs, and then Kate. Also along the tour, a bunch of times Kate had us jump on stage during her set and do backing vocals and stuff. I mean, she's just the most inviting. Somebody put in a good word for me. Oh my God, I love her. She broke my heart. So the last date of the tour, L.A., very sad. The Trachtenberg said to me, they said, well, you're not allowed to open the show, but you can get on stage and introduce us. So I said, damn straight I can. So I get up in L.A. in front of 1,400 people or whatever, Henry Fonda Theater, packed, sold out, all industry, and not just industry, of course, regular Kate Nash fans, and I say, hello, ladies and gentlemen. They're like, because the show's finally started. Ladies and gentlemen, hi, my name's Touching You. I'm Kate Nash's boyfriend. And I look over and I can see Kate's band is on the side of the stage all cracking up. And I think, again, I said, I was just downstairs making out with her. The girl is amazing. It's and we're all cracking up because the fans just eat it all up. And I said some other things, and then I brought on my introductions are pretty bizarre and wonderful. And I brought up the Trachtenbergs. And there's lots of other details, but that was the show with Kate. That was the final night. And when they had like a cake, they had a big cake to celebrate the end of the tour or whatever. Or maybe because it was L.A. and the industry was there. It was a big cake, big fancy cake for everybody. And I think, memory serves me right, Kate gave me the first piece. It was like, don't break my heart again, Kate. And what's my point? Piggyback ride, fantastic. Kate is just, oh my. All right, I'm getting a little too repetitious here, but you really have, until you hang out with Kate Nash, you don't know what I'm talking about. She really is one of the greatest people I've ever met. And I've met people from all over the world. I live in New York City. I've met shitloads of people. I've toured the world a bunch of times. I met shitloads of people. Kate Nash is a fucking work of art. Oh my God, this is almost going to max out too. So, was there one other point about L.A.? No, then we all went out to dinner. It was great. And I've only seen her a couple times since then. And I'm in love with Kate Nash. And so are most people who meet her. Actually, everyone who meets her. Fuck. So now I'm sad having told the story again. I had to go think about something else before I get more depressed. Have a nice day, and somebody kill me.